Tonight, two men are in custody after an hours-long domestic dispute in Brooklyn Park that involved gunfire and required a SWAT team. The chain of events began shortly before 10 o'clock last night at a home along Laramie Trail near Newton Avenue North. Ian Russell's live in Brooklyn Park with that story. Ian?
Yeah, well, Julie, neighbors who live nearby told me they've never seen anything like this before, telling me that this happened on a quiet street. They also told me they hope they never see anything like this in their neighborhood again. On this street in Brooklyn Park, different stands out.
You don't usually see stuff like that in this neighborhood.
So in the intersection near Scott Gatsky's home, filled with police squad Sunday night, he knew something was wrong.
You know, I just saw the flashing lights and I just thought, well, let's see what's going on.
Brooklyn Park police responded to Laramie Trail after someone reported screaming and then gunshots.
And I heard the third shot, you know, ka-choosh, you could hear the whistle.
Rob Dowdy lives down the street from what happened, showing us these videos he took last night.
That's the SWAT team. They went out and around the block and then pulled in.
Police got here around 10 p.m. Video from a nearby neighbor shows them walking through yards, headed to where people were barricaded inside a home. Police found shell casings and tried to get those inside the house to come out.
Unable to get people to come out. They eventually called the SWAT team.
Matt Raby with the Brooklyn Park Police Department says crisis negotiators were also involved, speaking to those inside for 3 hours before police made the decision to break down the front door.
In this circumstance, you know, breaching the door and continuing dialogue was the safest and best option.
Raby says everybody then came out of the home. 2 people were arrested.
Pretty large resource draw, as you can imagine, but that's what it takes to make sure that we come to a safe conclusion.
A safe outcome amidst a chaotic night, and what neighbors say they hope they never see again.
Definitely out of the ordinary. Hopefully, it was just an isolated incident.
Now, Raby with Brooklyn Park Police told me those 2 who were arrested were charged with reckless discharge of a firearm. Raby says the majority of officers on shift at the time were deployed to the scene, and they called in more officers to handle other 911 calls in the city. Julie.
All right, we're so glad everyone's safe. Thank you, Ian.